Hi, welcome to OurTown at Common Coffee. I'm Kurt Caraway. This morning we're going to be talking with Hansen from Western Nevada College. Right now we're going to take a short break for a word from our sponsor.
Do you feel like you have to take out a loan to pay your water bill?
Is that drip, drip, drip driving you nuts, nuts, nuts?
Leaky pipes can cost you a fortune, not to mention the wasted water. Even small leaks can waste hundreds of gallons. To check a leaky toilet, here's what you do.
Add several drops of dark food coloring to the toilet water tank.
If the water in the bowl is tinted after 15 minutes, your toilet is leaking. If it is, all it may need is a new toilet flapper, which is easy and cheap to fix.
If you don't want to do it yourself, you may want to call a licensed plumber.
Outside your house, check your hose bibs. They can waste thousands of gallons of water over the summer.
In the long run, the water you save will pay for itself, and you will be doing your part to use water wisely.
Every drop counts. Be water smart.
And we're back talking with Ann Hansen. How are you this morning?
Just well, and how about you?
All right. So how's the college this morning?
Well, you know, it's bustling up there today. Lots of students, lots of faculty, lots of learning.
Yeah. And since we're sitting in Common Coffee right across the street from the legislature, this is the other kind of epicenter for what happens at the college right now.
It really is. It's quite an interesting times. It's kind of like the Chinese curse, you know, maybe may you live in interesting times.
Yeah.
I think we're there. So.
Because, well, it's interesting in somewhat a bad way because they're looking at, you know, whacking the budget of the colleges. Now, you did get there was the sort of, I guess, reprieve last week where they said they weren't going to close, you know, WNC down or things, but it's still, you know, there's some real threats there.
There really are some real threats, and you know, to put it in context, the college and all the system has been cutting back along with everyone else. If this is not new, everyone else is suffering. So I don't think anyone at the college thinks that they're above the suffering that everyone else has done, but the need is so great for education in our state that it seems to hit particularly hard. Over the last 2-3 years, the college has already cut over 16% of its budget, and it's had a really dramatic impact. You think 16%, we ought to be able to absorb that, but it's actually meant the closure of several programs, many fewer teachers, pay cuts for everyone, teachers having to have larger classes, teaching more classes. It's been very significant, that 16%. Now the proposal is for another 31.5%, which is then almost 50%. And anyone who knows anything about business knows that you can't take half of your resources and expect to function. And the other part of that is that, as you know, if you have facilities and you have faculty, they're the most cost-intensive part of it. So you can cut everything else and still not be able to handle that. So
yeah,
it's very serious.
You could have your classes in a field
exactly.
with no building,
right.
But you're still going to have a lot of costs because of the people.
Right, and so it's a really serious time for higher education in Nevada.
Yeah, and I mean, and you know, the cuts are, you know, it's one thing to cut back for short periods of time in order to heal a budget, and you know, and agencies and things have been trying to do that. But some of the cuts, you know, if they get that deep, is this going to be where they're cutting, you know, some programs and teachers where you can't just turn the key and turn it back on if the funding came back the next day?
You're absolutely right. I mean, some of these programs have taken 20 or 30 years to develop, and you just can't shut the door on those. Like our surgical technology program, we hated losing that program. We had to because the instructor left, and we thought, well, you know, rather than fire someone else, there's one that we can let go of for now. I don't know if we'll ever get it back. It was a nationally accredited program that was full every year. The biggest threat that we're facing with these cuts is, although we were told that the college itself would not close, in effect, we could be faced with closing all of our rural campuses and centers, which would be devastating because Western has a very specific mission to serve not only the capital city, but 7 counties of rural Western Nevada. And so, you know, you take a county like Lyon County that had the highest unemployment in the country, and you know that there are many people out of work, many people who need to be retrained. And what we've seen in the past 2 years is that students have come back. They are trying to be retrained. In fact, our enrollment has just jumped in full-time degree-seeking enrollment of all ages. And the other thing that's happened is that they're very, very financially needy. We distributed twice as much financial assistance, most of it federal financial assistance, over $11 million last year in financial assistance compared to $6 million the year before. And we're finding that our students are more needy than ever. Our full-time students, over half of them qualified for full Pell Grants, which is about $5,500. Actually, that's not enough to live on to go to school, as you know. And so there, there's this real big disconnect between what the people of Nevada are able to contribute and what they need, and then on the other hand, what we might be faced with giving.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing I think about, the community colleges, especially like WNC, is they're offering kind of really fast, very career-oriented things, and they're not studying philosophy. Hey, I'm not knocking that. I actually study philosophy, but nursing and, like you said, the surgical technology thing, which was hard to. Those are high-paying fields that people can get into. Get through their college, go and jump in, and there's a real need there. There's actually jobs sitting there for people.
There really are, Kirk. And also, I was thinking about, as I came in here, about the national movement towards STEM learning, science, technology, engineering, math, and the college is really positioned. We have a lot of programs in those areas. We have programs in the sciences, et cetera. Maybe we can talk more about that. But we are positioned to train Nevada, to educate Nevada, and we're just worried that we might not have that opportunity.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break right now and come right back after word from our sponsor.
When you walk into a Charlie's Grilled Subs, you walk back in time when subs were made from scratch with premium meats, real dairy cheese, delicious breads, and very fresh vegetables. At Charlie's, what you see is what you get. Grilled live right in front of you. Nothing pre-cooked or pre-assembled. It's just all good.
It's delicious.
So when you want a fresh, healthy blast from the past, visit Charlie's at the east entrance to the Carson Mall. Your tummy will thank you.
And we're back with Ann Hansen. We were talking a little bit about the kind of education that WNC offers. Very career focused and things that can put people right back to work right away. I mean, I think that's the interesting thing is that you're talking about cutting an institution that has the ability to literally train some people and put them in jobs right now and reduce the unemployment rate.
You're really right, Kurt. I think the thing that WNC does really well is actually we have two tracks. We have that track for the traditional high school student who wants to go for a 4-year degree, get their first 2 years at Western, and save money doing it. That number has grown exponentially. We used to attract about 19% of the high school graduates in our service area. That number is up to 30%, almost doubled. And so you can see that people like the idea of being able to save some money on the front end and then spend the money where they need to at the other end. The other part is what you just alluded to, those programs in science, math, technologies. We have nationally accredited programs in our welding and machining, and those are things where are programs where people can either get a degree or they can just take classes. They can achieve certifications and they can get jobs. Now we also have a whole lot of IT degrees where, and when I look at the wage information on those, they're really high. They're $50, $80, $1,000 a year. And so with a 2-year degree in some of our IT areas, you can do very well. And these are all careers of the present and the future. And I think we have to look forward when we talk about education. It's very different than when we went to school, I have to say. And Nevada's needs are very different. I think for a long time the state had a kind of a simplistic view of what we expected our state to be. And now we know that just isn't going to work anymore, that there's so much more that needs to be done to make our state successful.
Yeah. And now there's going to be a protest or a demonstration next week?
Yes, on the 21st of March, I believe. Let me make sure I got my date right.
Right across the street, right over here?
At the legislature at 10 a.m. And I'm wearing a button that was given to me by the WNC student government, which says Nevada needs us, and has the Western logo. And our students have just become really energized because they love their school. They've been signing petitions. They've been talking to students out in the halls. They're going to bring thousands of students from all the colleges of Nevada. Statewide rally, 10 o'clock on March 21st at the Capitol Mall. And so I think they're trying to show legislators and the state in general that they care about education in Nevada. They want to be part of the solution and the future of Nevada.
So, all right. Well, it's going to be it's a tough time trying to get anything through the budget of this state, but hopefully they'll be able to work these budget problems out without affecting it too much.
We're hoping that people can compromise and see the value of long-term.
So, all right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
And thank you for tuning in to Our Town of Common Coffee. We will catch you next time.
Sometimes a simple thing like walking downstairs can become a life-threatening experience.
Help me! I've fallen!
I'm Janice Ayers, and we have a solution for less than $1 a day. It's called Lifeline, where you push a button and automatically through your phone system you summon emergency medical help, life-saving help. For Lifeline information, call RSVP today.